What if the very thing you think is holding you back was actually the first step in your evolution? This is the 16th pattern of change, the shadow of indifference. And today we're going to explore why it exists, what it's trying to show you, and how it silently shapes both your physical biology and your spiritual journey. But first, I'll start with the parable of the musician who stopped listening.
At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share.
There was once a young girl named Mela, born with a natural gift of sound. As a child, she would close her eyes and feel the vibration of people's voices, the hum of the wind, and the silent rhythms between spoken words. People called her gifted. She played instruments like they were extensions of her own body. But over time, something changed. One teacher said she was too scattered. Another told her she needed to be more serious. Her parents, though proud, warned her not to expect too much from a life of dreams. Slowly, Mela's light dimmed. She began listening less, creating less, and feeling less. By the time she was grown, Mela's gift had turned into a skill she used mechanically, when needed, on command, with no real soul behind it. And when she wasn't playing, she felt numb, disconnected, and bored. One evening, sitting alone under a tree, she heard a small bird whistling an awkward, broken tune. She nearly ignored it, but something inside her stirred. The bird repeated its clumsy song again and again, not for praise, not for perfection, but simply because it loved the sound of its own aliveness. That night, Mela didn't sleep. She just listened. To the breeze, to her heartbeat, to her buried joy. And something awakened. Not mastery, not performance, but the first breath of devotion. Understanding the shadow of indifference. Indifference. It doesn't just scream. It doesn't rage. It doesn't warn. It withdraws. It closes the ears of the soul and whispers, "It doesn't matter." It shows up as numbness, cynicism, the habit of tuning out one's own brilliance, either because the world didn't see it or because one was afraid they would. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign, so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7 because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you will reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and Human Design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into
the wheel of evolutionary change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully, through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. In the body, this 16th challenge connects us to the parathyroid, or the throat chakra, which governs calcium balance and supports rhythm, coordination, and confidence in one's skill set. When this shadow is active, one may experience this as internal dissonance, a sense that one is capable of more, but one can't quite access one's full expression, or that one's timing feels off. But here's the truth most people miss. Indifference isn't failure, it's a pause. It's a spiritual cocoon that emerges when the soul no longer wants to fake its way forward. Complementary shadow to the shadow of indifference is the shadow of inertia. And in inertia, it has a fear of long journeys. Its repressive nature is reluctant, and its reactive nature is diverted. So you can see how these shadows play on each other as partners. In that ninth shadow of inertia lies the dilemma of surrender. And after watching this video, you'll be able to see how they play on one another. Now back to the shadow of indifference. Why this shadow is necessary in our evolution. On the path of spiritual ascension, we are not meant to ascend in a straight line. We rise, we fall, we plateau. This shadow teaches us that before versatility can emerge, before we can embody mastery, we must encounter the emptiness. Not to escape it, but to listen to it. This emptiness isn't laziness, it's a form of grieving. For the part of us that once believed our brilliance was conditional, or had to be proven, or wasn't welcome in the world we grew up in. Indifference is the soul's way of saying, I won't keep performing unless it's real. Every shadow exists for a reason. It is not a mistake in one's design or one's energetic template. It is a checkpoint in one's unfolding. This 16th challenge exists to protect the sacred spark of enthusiasm until we are ready to wield it without ego, without approval seeking, and without distortion. In the early stages of life, one may have learned that showing joy, creativity, or confidence could lead to ridicule, rejection, or pressure. So one internalized a belief that it was safer to not care too much. That became the shell of indifference. But that shell is temporary. It was never meant to be one's identity. Moving from the path of fear to love and grace. If you've felt the coldness of indifference inside your heart, if you've questioned whether your passion was ever real, if you've doubted that you could ever feel deeply alive again, know this. The shadow is not your enemy. It is a gatekeeper to your gift. It invites you to listen again, to care again, and above all, to remember that mastery is not perfection. It is the moment when your presence and passion become one. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the 16th pattern of change. If this resonated with you in your chart research, stay with this series because these shadows don't need fixing. They just need to be understood and loved all the way through.
Down below, you'll find links to how to contact me through email for any one-on-one consultations. But most importantly, you'll find links to my meetup groups, which have free resources for you. The first one is divination systems, which is more related to the content in this series. The next one is emotional intelligence and mastery, so you can better understand the emotions that are repressive and reactive. How to understand the questions that they bring, and how to make better choices from your core authority and true sense of self. The last one is emotional trauma release group, where there's a safe space that costs nothing to participate in, so you can go through your feelings with more safety and sense of sanctuary. If you don't feel like adopting another platform for social interaction, you can also just access the archive on my website where those folders on the Dropbox exist. It's free to access. It's there to support you. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. God bless you for finding this series, accessing the information and the insights, and integrating them into your daily life so you can be the best person you can be for the rest of humanity. God bless you. Namaste, and good life to you all.